What's the best way to make the coffee then?
You see how it's bubbling?
Yeah.
That means that the coffee's fresh.
Have you heard of Kerala coffee?
For espresso, they work very well.
I'm realizing today that it's a lot more complex than I thought.
Coffee in Colombia, more than a product, is part of our culture. So 500,000 small families produce coffee in Colombia. We are very much a small producing or a small producer coffee country. So as you know, Colombia is the third biggest producing country in the world and probably known as the country that produces in volume the best quality.
So what percentage of global coffee do you produce in Colombia?
Colombia produces about 12 or 13%.
Okay.
The biggest producer is Brazil. A lot of volume, lower quality. In terms of the higher quality coffee, which would be Arabica, Colombia is one of the best, one of the largest producers. And it's very much ingrained in our culture, and it was a very important part of the development in the 20th century of our economy. Coffee right now, we're in a weird moment because coffee, the international price of coffee is very high, but it's very unstable. So you have 10 years of very low prices and then 1 year of really high prices. And you try to survive 9 years. And for a small producer, that's very hard. So we are working much more on specialty coffee, which is a coffee that is separated from the market and provides a sustainable income for producers. So we now not only work with our own farms, but we work with about 1,500 small producers throughout Colombia. And we help them connect with high-value markets around the world. So we work with high-quality roasters in the US, Europe, Middle East, Asia, and help them source amazing product. And we also have our brand and our roaster, which is called Pergamino, which is where we are right now.
What do you think of Starbucks then? And what do you think of Nespresso?
So I will try to respond in the most
light way.
Yeah, in a light way. Starbucks did a lot for the consumption of coffee in the world. So basically, it brought consumption of coffee away from the house into this idea of the third space. You have your office, you have your house, and then you have a cafe. And it popularized the use of espresso. So espresso is not necessarily the highest quality, but it provides a lot of ways of drinking coffee: lattes, cappuccinos, macchiatos, cold drinks, etc. And that created a huge new demand for coffee that didn't exist before. So we all basically we appreciate the fact that coffee was elevated to a different level of consumption. But you have a premium brand; they sell coffee at a high price, but the quality is, let's say, medium, yeah.
So what's the best way to make the coffee then?
The purest way is the way that we're going to make it right now, which is very simple. It's a V60, it's a dripper.
Can we see?
Yeah, please. The coffee has to be super fresh. That's the other problem that Nespresso or Starbucks have. Obviously, you have worldwide chains, and you have to roast coffee in New York and then ship it throughout the US, right? Artisan coffee and quality coffee is very local. This coffee was roasted probably 3 or 4 days ago.
What's the best way to keep it?
The best way is to keep it sealed in a sealed bag with a valve that permits CO2 to come out, but oxygen to not come in, because the major enemy of coffee is oxygen. As soon as oxygen starts, a lot of the components that you feel like are coffee are actually fatty acids. Those fatty acids get oxidized with oxygen, and they start becoming rancid. She's very delicate in the way that she's doing the extraction. So she just doesn't add all the water right at once. You have to do first a pre-infusion. You see how it's bubbling?
Yeah.
That means that the coffee's fresh. That means that the CO2 that the coffee has still inside, it's coming out. Only 2% of the beverage is coffee. 98% is water. So the 2% is very important. And getting that extraction of 2% is very, very, very specific. So they took about 4 minutes. That's a very good extraction. Perfecto. She hit 4 minutes. So you want to hit 4 minutes in this extraction. In espresso, you are doing extractions in 20 seconds to 25. So you're extracting a lot of the components, but you're not extracting as much caffeine.
It's brute force.
Yes, it's brute force. So you don't extract as much caffeine. You can taste this if you want. This is the coffee that I was telling you that comes from the indigenous community in the south of the country. Yeah, the Aponte. And they have a different way of processing it at the farm level.
What do you think of Kerala coffee? Have you heard of Kerala coffee?
The only coffee that I've tasted from India are the monsoon malabars that they call.
Malabar is
Yes.
Kerala.
Yeah, okay. They have a very different profile from Colombia. They have less acidity, a lot more cocoa and nuts. I think it's also because of the altitude and the varieties. They're very good for certain uses. Like, for example, for espresso, they work very well.
I'm realizing today that it's a lot more complex than I thought.
Yeah.
You do the shot here, but nobody has developed the same concept with tea.
I think the extraction is a lot harder. So the way that coffee is, when you grind it and you roast it, you can do extractions like this a lot easier than you can do with tea. Tea at the end is usually, I'm not an expert in tea, so I don't want to make any big mistakes, but you know, tea is usually fermented or dried instead of roasted, right? And you have the
Right.
pulverized the leaf tea, and then you have different fermentations, and you get to different teas. Obviously, you can then add species and cardamoms, etc. I'm a fan of one of my fondest memories of India is chai tea, and just having amazing tea anywhere.
Yeah.
You would go to any neighborhood, and somebody would offer you tea, and it was just special and sweet, and usually very sweet. Yeah.
Thank you.
So this would be the presentation of a cold brew guandolo. This is a mix of our coffee culture with a very traditional Colombian drink, which is made out of sugar cane. And you filter it and you drink it. Basically, what you're having is it's a sugarcane beverage with lemon
Wow.
and coffee and soda. And cold brew has high caffeine.
Okay.
Because I was explaining that caffeine extracts very slowly. You have 16-hour extraction, so you're getting all the caffeine out.
If you take these beans, put them in cold water, that would work as cold brew?
Yeah, you would have to grind them. So you grind them first in the grinder, and then you put them in cold water for 16 hours.
And that works.
And then you extract. You have to filter it.
Same way.
Yeah, same way. I did have some gift for you if you don't mind.
Sure.
It was a pleasure.
Lovely to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you for your time.